Alright guys, what you guys just heard was the sound test for the Canoo Gen 1 in polycarbonate. Now what I'm going to tell you guys is my opinions on the sound, my opinions on the build process, as well as some general thoughts. So this is a fairly simple build. It really requires a few screws, you mount the plate to the top, and that's really about it. There wasn't much to it. There was one oddity with the build, which I'll show you guys now, which at least my kit didn't come with it. There was no feet for this, so there's no bump-ons. Does that affect the sound? Yeah, a little bit. So I could order and test some bump-ons, but I decided against it just because I wanted to see what this board was with everything that I got in the box. Other than that, I'm fairly happy with it. Again, it was a fun, simple build. The other oddity with the build too is the Bluetooth. So this is where the Bluetooth toggle is located. I was having a bunch of issues with this. I could not get it to connect to my computer tower at all, and I couldn't figure out why. I know my computer has a bunch of issues with Bluetooth, so I tried to connect this with something else. It did work, but it was kind of odd, and it is kind of odd to have to take off the spacebar to get to that button. I think a bottom toggle or something in the bottom of the case would have been probably a little bit better. But otherwise, a cool feature to have. Again, just an oddity, not really a complaint. RGB is backlit here, so you will have a bunch of options. If I remember correctly, I believe it's this button. So you will have a bunch of options. It's kind of hard to see here on the camera, but bunch of things can happen. You can do a bunch of different toggles here, which is pretty fun. And then you can also change this RGB mode over here, as well as brightness for that. And that can just be toggled off by a few different buttons here. So let's get to the meat of this review, and this is the sound test. And this is why I absolutely love this board. It is, in my opinion, such a good kit for the price that you can get it even on MechMarket right now. This board sounds to me phenomenal, and it feels even better. To note, there is marshmallow switches in here which are filmed and lubed, and they are already a great switch, but the board really complements it, and I love polycarbonate boards. They really complement a lot of different switches, and this board is just awesome. This does have an aluminum plate inside of it, so I'm sure if you were to get something custom like an FR4 plate or something else, it will definitely change the sound of this board quite a bit, but this board just sounds and feels really, really good as well. I think it pairs really well with linear switches. I have not yet tried a tactile switch inside this, but this is one of the boards I keep coming back to because I really, really, really enjoy typing on it. And to type on it, I was using blank PBT caps. These are from Apex keyboards, and I think they're really cool. The only issue I had with these, which I have to correct here, is the spacebar does have a slight warp to it, so I will have to go and correct some of that when I have some time. You can see the profile of the keyboard is quite nice. The RGB does even kind of go through the case, which is kind of cool. It makes for really cool photos as well. And with that being said, guys, the Canoo Gen 1 is one of my favorite keyboards in my collection. It honestly sounds and feels so good to type on. And by Percent Studios as well, and they make some great product. Like we did the Canoo Gen 2 review. To be completely honest, I even kind of prefer typing on this versus the Canoo Gen 2. Mind you, this is polycarbonate, the other one's aluminum. And the only other drawback of this entire keyboard is the fact that it does not use USB-C. So we are stuck with this connector. And it would be nice to see a USB-C version of this particular keyboard come out, unless it has already and I don't know about it. Now let's get into some other thoughts, guys. The only other thoughts I really had was, I wish that they made the Percent logo here at the back just a little bit more predominant, maybe etched it in. I think that would have been really cool. Right now it's kind of hard to see, but again, just an aesthetic thing. Nothing really crazy. And I don't have many other negative thoughts at all. The only other negative thing I will bring to light, which again, I did not have problems with mine, but I have heard people did have problems with the PCB, whether it be failing or just not working at all right out of the box. I did hear some things about that, so buyer beware there. If you are going to pick this up aftermarket, please have the person you were buying from it test the PCB first. So again, beware there. That's the only other thing that I heard about prior to even building in this keyboard. But again, this is a great board, a great little kit to pick up on MechMarket if you guys are looking for something. And it is Bluetooth too, so that's a plus. And that's really all I had to say about this keyboard, guys. See ya.